Hey guys, be sure and check out the My Ambitions as a Writer blog where I, the Mrs. Morgan you know, Kate Morgan, shares my many opinions, stands with women everywhere, and stays rough and rugged addressing the mass public. Visit themorganyouknow.com/blog. Enjoy!
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know podcasting network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Rod, what are you hot about tonight?
Well, I'm hot, I guess, because apparently, unbeknownst to what I would really want to talk about, there are other things in the entertainment world not Top Gun Maverick and not Tom Cruise related. So it's time for me to get back on regularly scheduled programming here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network and talk some wrestling.
So while the Morgan You Know has a variety of shows, people don't necessarily listen to all the shows that's on the network. But I will tell you this. If you like movies at all, especially those with Tom Cruise, the Tom Cruise podcast you put together was fantastic. Had a draft. It's everything we do well. Had a draft. Had some Mount Rushmores in there. Had some predictions. Kudos to you and the crew, bud.
Well, you know, I must admit it's been one of my achievements. I kind of started the podcast just to do a Tom Cruise show. So I guess basically what I'm announcing here, Jimmy, is that the Morgan You Know podcast is now closing down and it will just be a wrestling and sports feed. No, of course that's not true. It was a lot of fun finally getting to that one though.
I was going to say the more you joke, the more I'm like, and you didn't tell me that beforehand. Okay, resume is going out. All right then, fair enough. So again, we are the Yeah We Know podcast. We're at Yeah We Know Pod on the Twitter, yeahweknowpod@gmail.com. So this is kind of usually a low point in WWE land as far as wrestling goes. You know, it's the June swoon, if you will. But we have a pay-per-view coming up. But I do want to hit real quick. We are not an AEW podcast, Rod. We aren't. You have a lot of things going on. I have a lot of things going on. And we have to do everything we can to stick up with WWE. But I do want to say a couple things I want to talk about Double or Nothing this past weekend. First of all, CM Punk is your new AEW World Champion. How you feel about CM Punk being champ, Rod?
I think it's pretty good. I think they had to get the belt on him sooner rather than later, right? When you and I talked about CM Punk when he first came over, my thought was we need to get the belt on him quicker, and you were like, nah, I don't know if they really need to do that. So I guess I'm going to take a victory lap here, even though I know nothing about AEW.
And a couple things I really like about AEW. And listen, I watch WWE more, so no matter what I say, I watch WWE more, okay? But two things they do that I love. Their pay-per-views, Rod, they go. They're like a UFC event. They go from one match, you get a little breather, next match starts. There's not 25 minutes of video packages and 6 interviews. So I love that. The bad part about that is they had 13 matches in 4.5 hours, which is pretty long. But something else I really love, Rod. Go ahead.
Good Lord, 4.5 hours. Wow, the WWE's looking at that like, Jiminy.
Yeah, that was a long one. But then also afterwards, Tony Khan does press conferences afterwards, and I love that because so much comes out of those. Getting to hear from CM Punk, who just won the championship. Tony Khan kind of talking a little bit about some stuff that happened behind the scenes, which I think is neat. But we got to talk about this MJF thing. He is going full Pillman, full heel. He did a promo tonight on Dynamite that basically said, "Fire me, Tony Khan." So, Rod, let me kind of give you a little bit of backstory, and I want your thoughts on this. It was reported that MJF no-showed a signing, kind of their like all access before the big event. So he had a ton of people that had paid to get his autograph and a picture taken with him. He no-showed that, and I actually think that was real, that happened, or something happened where he wasn't there, because they're not going to just screw over fans. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do.
Let me interject here real quick. So if he no-showed something, then clearly all of wrestling Twitter just defended him and attacked creative and made it all creative's fault, right? If he just no-showed something, because that's what wrestling Twitter has shown they do to someone when they just walk out, right?
Not when you screw the fans over. That's the kicker. When you screw the fans over like that, that's bad. That's bad for business. That's bad for you. I don't know what you want to do. But eventually this kind of so that's a shoot that he wasn't there. Now it could have been, and I've heard some rumblings, he might have actually just been double booked and they didn't know it, something happened. Whatever the case may be. It's a shoot that he didn't show up, and it really pissed off a lot of fans. They got their money back, but still, if I'm taking my kid and I want them to be flipped off by MJF and be yelled at, I want that to happen, right? But at some point it became a shoot, or it became a work, And MJF did come, and he did the job to Wardlow. Wardlow killed him. 10 power bombs, complete squash match, a 2 years, Rod. They've had this storyline going. They did pay it off well. But then the next night he comes on, he's no-selling everything and coming on and yelling and screaming to fire me. You're paying all this money to all these WWE guys. Fire me, please fire me. Is this something you like to see, Rod? Is this interesting to you at all?
I love it. Like he's really saying, Rod, come over here to AEW. Pay attention to me. I'm talking a lot about what you have been talking about and questions you have been asking of the ardent AEW fans that we just keep wanting and wanting more of these WWE castoffs, who is the league that all of these AEW truthers make fun of, but all they have to go for is getting their castoffs and then paying them probably more and more money than the guys like MJF and the other dudes who you've always talked to me about started this thing, is what started turning it around and getting people to like them. And now it seems to me that they're just trying to become the WWE, and I don't think that that's great for them. And like you said, if MJF is going to start sort of pissing off the fans, and then him pissing off the fans becomes a work, I just don't think that's where it's Tony Khan, right? Because I get the Khans mixed up, because then there's the one Khan that's the president.
Nick Khan is WWE, Tony Khan is AEW.
I wanted to make sure I was saying that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm really interested to see if the AEW puts the clamps down on something like this, or if it just spins more and more out of control. Because if this is a storyline that gets eaten up, who's to say they don't do it even more? I don't know. It's really interesting. I find it really interesting as somebody who's only even a tertiary fan of AEW.
In the Hardys and Young Bucks match, Jeff Hardy looked horrible. It looked like he was injured. It looked like there was something going on with him. So hopefully he recovers as quickly as possible. He was subbed out for a match on Dynamite tonight, so hopefully he can recover. Athena, Ember Moon, one of my favorite wrestlers, debuted on Double or Nothing, which is really great. Britt Baker and Adam Cole both won the Owen Hart Memorial Tournament, so they got some belts. How is that even
possible? How does Vince McMahon not own the Owen Hart name? How is that possible?
Well, Owen Hart's his actual name, so you can't do that. And then it's there are lawsuits, things like that, with because he died under WWE watch. But his widow was there and talked a little bit, and it was kind of a cool thing to honor her husband. So I thought that was pretty neat that they did that as well. Paige Van Zant made her debut. Wasn't the best debut ever, but Paige Van Zant from MMA and Bare Knuckle and OnlyFans fame, I believe.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Go. Keep it classy, AEW.
Keep it classy. But no, she's actually a pretty good at everything. Needs to work on the inside of the ring a little bit. So that's going to be your double and nothing. That's your AEW report. Speaking about Nick Khan, though, Rod, let's transition here. Stephanie McMahon steps away from WWE. We have not talked about this since it happened. Kind of happened right after our wonderful Top 25 show that we did. Make sure you check that out on this feed. Stephanie McMahon's going to take some time to be with family.
Well, I mean, her husband did almost die, so I suppose we can give her a little bit of time here. She's got, what, 3 boys, right? All still fairly young?
Girls. McMahon has the boys. Yeah,
that's right.
Shane.
Okay.
Shane has the boys. She has the girls. So
okay, yeah. I mean, so here's what I would wonder though, right? I mean, with the WWE, right? It's like everything's always for show, right? You can never really believe everything that comes out, right? So what I wonder is if Stephanie is a little bit, so Nick Khan's the man. All right, fine then. I don't even need to be here. I wonder if there's just a little bit of that going on right now.
You never know. It could be because it's a cutthroat business. If WWE is going to stay in the family, you would think Stephanie and Paul Levesque would take over. But it also, if it's sold, you may think, how much money is enough money? Do we really have to, work out from 1 to 3 a.m. and then get up at 5 a.m. to go work? Sometimes you just may want to stay with the family. Who knows?
I hope she appears again sometime though, because I think Stephanie McMahon is pretty darn good at what they ask her to do, usually in storylines.
On camera, she's amazing. She is. Everyone hates her so much, and I love it. It's fantastic. Sasha and Naomi, there's really nothing more to say on that other than
let's go back to work or shoot, though, Jimmy, because there's a lot more discussion of that out there. Are you still completely on the side of that this was a shoot and this isn't a long-term work by the WWE?
Unless you see these two show up at Hell in a Cell underneath the ring and beat the women up, that no, this is real. I think this is a shoot. I think they're pissed. Now I think WWE's story had some truths in it. I don't think it was the entire story. You know, sometimes you just get fed up, you know?
Oh, absolutely. And again, listen, as you and I stated when we first talked about this, right? You can be mad at WWE Creative, and you can say that you think that Naomi and Sasha deserve better things. But you
Sure.
can also say that it was completely unprofessional for them to walk out. And so that's why I kind of am just like, all right, you guys just wake me when this thing is over. I'm not going to participate in the back and forth that continues to go on Twitter.
I think so, because, you know, is there a difference, Rod? If I told you that Naomi and Sasha said, you know what, we're not going to work tonight at 10 a.m., or they said the same thing, they put the belts on the table at 7 p.m., is that a difference?
Yeah, I guess it would be, right? Now, there's probably a certain number of hours that I wouldn't think it would make much of a difference. But
Sure.
if you tell me something like that where you still have 8, 9, you know, maybe almost even 10 hours to still maybe make something happen. I mean, we all know that there's underground, you know, scenes and they pull these guys up to lose to Veer Mahan and to Gunther, the ring general, for a while. I mean, there's any number of things they might have been able to do. So if you told me they did it earlier in the day, I probably wouldn't be as mad as walking out during the taping, which was certainly the original story we were fed. But hey, it wouldn't be the only story out in the nation that had a fudgy timeline, would it, Jimmy?
No. no, it would not. Expand on that a little bit for me, Rod.
Well, I mean, I think in these times right now, it's always interesting, or not interesting, but necessary to point out to folks that we're here for entertainment. We're here
Correct.
for fun, right? We don't want to make it seem that we don't understand that there are trying times and that there was a horrible, harrowing thing that happened down in Texas.
Yeah.
But I think it's also fair to say that we should all be disgusted with the timeline that has been fed to us. So I think it's okay for me to make a timeline joke there.
I think it is okay for you to put that in there. We're not going to get too much more into that, but here's a tip for everybody. If you mess up, tell the truth. Just say what happened. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do, you know? I mean, it's so much easier. It's kind of like what I tell my kids. You're going to get in trouble. No question. But you're going to get in a lot more trouble if you lie to me.
Absolutely.
You know? Speaking of lying, the Usos, well, first of all, they are the unified World Tag Team Champions.
We haven't discussed that match yet, have we?
We have not. No,
I mean,
we have not.
I must admit, I was really surprised by that match, Jimmy. I mean, I guess ultimately, if you would have told me the Usos are going to walk out of there, it made more sense to me for them to win it. But I was surprised that they just decided to absolutely destroy them like that and then cut to kids in the crowd just being horrified. I was like, man, I don't remember being this affected by an end of a SmackDown or a Raw in a little while.
But then what happens on Monday when Orton's dead? He's gone. Back injury. He's out for years, okay? He'll be back next week. But then Riddle just walks out and dances, and he doesn't really sell it very much. That was kind of weird for me because it takes that emotion and kind of says, "Oh, we got you." It doesn't really matter.
And then he pulls off the Riddle jacket, and he's got the ribs wrapped up, but then he's still basically doing the same exact moveset in the ring, which, again, as I've pointed out numerous times, as much as I love Riddle, is a bit of a problem. We need to get a few more in-ring moves than just the running knees all the time and then the Viper's moveset.
Someone who was just pissed at our top 25 said, all right, you're not going to put me in there? I'm going to show you. I'm going to become Riddle's tag team partner, and I'm going to become one half of the undisputed tag team champions. Shinsuke Nakamura is teaming with Riddle now. Now, didn't Nakamura have another partner at one point?
He did. He had another partner that we want to still shout out and continue to keep his name on our tongues because we love him, and he is none other than the Freddie Mercury wannabe, Rick Books.
Was an amazing act with Nakamura and probably would be in this title hunt if they were still there. They probably would have gotten the belts by now, I'm not going to lie. But we have Usos. I love the fact they gave it to the Usos. It really does prop up the bloodline. I wish there was someone else in the bloodline who could have been world champion. Maybe a female. Anyway. But that all leads us to, Rod, Hell in a Cell, which has always been kind of, the past couple years has just kind of been a pay-per-view on paper, but then you get some really good stories coming out of it. Well, first of all, you got Rollins and you got The Fiend from a few years ago, which was a terrific story. Not the story they wanted to tell, but it was something that gave us a lot of fodder. And then you had Bayley and Sasha. So you've actually had both. You've had really weird endings and terrific endings as well. And I think there are going to be a couple matches on this card that really do highlight how great the WWE is, but there's also going to be a few that show how much more they've got to go.
Yeah, I think that's a very good summation because I think that's a great gear of where we're at, right? And I think our top 25 list, which you made reference to as well, we talked a little bit about that, right? We talked about how the couple of guys in our top 5, they were even a level above our guys that were just below them, and then there was a certain point where then it really just dropped off and it didn't much matter the rest of them.
Yeah, I mean that last 5-6 is like, well, it really doesn't matter because they don't care, and if they don't care, why should we care? Let's talk about the teams that we just talked about because this is kind of a rumored match still. The Usos versus Riddle and Nakamura for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. If they do this match, I think it's going to be terrific. It might actually open the show. If it doesn't open to the show, the Hell in a Cell will open the show. Usos will win this, though. I don't see any reason to take the belts off them this quickly.
Certainly not. The Usos are definitely going to win this. But what I will say is I'm with you. I like the pairing of Shin and Riddle, right? As much as I give Riddle crap for his knees, right? Nakamura, the King of Strong Style, kind of has a similar thing, right? So they got close vibes there. And I don't think I've seen Shinsuke look this spry or this good in about a year. So, I mean, the same thing we got. Orton got some of the Riddle shine, right, where he got some excitement out of the fans. Maybe we can get a little more excitement out of Shinsuke with the fans and build him back up because he's one of those guys, right, that you and I, we didn't put him on our list, and that was probably a mistake. But I think you and I also have an awful lot of respect for him and know he's one of those guys I like to call a microwave guy, where all you got to do is just give him a little shine for a couple of weeks, and then he can be right at the top of fans' excitement. So I think that's a good thing. I'm with you. The Usos are absolutely going to destroy him.
If you ever call him Shin again, I will end you.
Is that not?
I will call Seth frickin' Rollins.
No, don't
every
do that.
time we will do drops on frickin'. I don't even care. Michael Cole is. I love Michael Cole. One of the goats. Not Shin. It's
all right,
Shinsuke
Shinsuke,
Nakamura.
excuse me. I apologize,
Thank you.
Mr. Can I call him Mr. Nakamura?
I will allow it.
Because that's kind of my thing. I'm always calling people by their last names, except I don't call you Mr. Jamriska as often as I call other people Mr.
Jimmy's easier. Theory and Ali. Dude, how many times has Ali got to lose and be made a fool of to still get championship matches? Like,
Let me ask you a question. Let me do what I do. I'm going to make you go hardcore nuts and bolts business here. How much of this is they are making him go extra time on his contract because of when he involuntarily walked away and asked for his release on Twitter? I mean, is this just one of those deals where he's got a couple more matches that they ended on the card and then we're just never going to see him again, or what? What's happening here?
Oh, I mean, it might be. That could definitely be it. I think he's still got a while to go, though. If I'm him, you put your head down, you do your work, do the best you can, play your part, and move on. But coming from a storyline perspective, why does he deserve a shot? He's lost all of them. Yeah, he's gotten screwed over by The Miz, but he's gotten beat a lot by Theory.
Yeah, and I'm on some level, I wonder if they think that's sort of his character, right? On some level, I think that maybe he's going to garner some fan support by oh, look at him, keep the plucky underdog, keep coming back for it. But that doesn't really work anymore. So I'm kind of confused as well. But
ever since it worked with Daniel Bryan, they think that's the only way to get somebody over, and it's not at all. It was they caught lightning in a bottle with Bryan, and it didn't work. It's not going to work with Ali either. I think he's going to lose. Theory's going to win this one, right?
Yeah, but I think we're also, too, I mean, you speak about it a little bit here. The Tribal Chief's taking a little bit of time off. Orton's away. Lesnar hasn't been back since WrestleMania. They kind of need some bodies to cycle through right now. Big E's still out. We just talked about Boogs being out. They just need bodies right now.
You said cycle. How about recycle? How about Lashley against Omos and MVP in a handicap match? I don't care. Please put these people with somebody else. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to have I think MVP and Omos are going to win. Why? I don't know.
It also doesn't make any sense. Again, I understand that this is all wrestling, and of course none of it makes sense and it's scripted. But again, 2 people versus Omos, that's a handicap match that makes sense to me. But why in the world someone would be in a match versus Omos and somebody else? I have no idea.
That's a good point. And we've seen all that we can. It doesn't matter. Do you have Omos MVP or Lashley on this one, Rod?
I mean, I guess I'm going to take Omos because I'm just going to harken back to what we said. They just don't seem to care about Bobby Lashley. I mean, and so if you don't care about Bobby Lashley, hopefully you still have plans for Omos. I mean, I think him coming out in the suit, I like that a little bit better than the leather jacket the tank top kind of deal he used to come out with his AJ Styles. So we've seen a little bit of shine on Omos thanks to MVP, but I don't know, man. Lashley's not the guy to get somebody over. As much as I love and respect Bob, he's just not the guy to get somebody over because fans don't care about him enough.
They don't care about him enough because of what they've done with him.
Well, sure,
he,
yeah, no, I mean,
he
I'm
beat
not blaming
Almost
Bob,
at Mania.
I'm just...
Yeah, no. I know. He beat Almost at Mania. Guess what? Great. What next? Oh, 2 months later, what's he doing? Same thing. We have the Bullet Club, AJ, Finn Balor, and Liv Morgan versus Judgment Day. I think this is going to be a solid matchup, but I think you got to give the win to Judgment Day here. I think Edge is going to get a pin in here somewhere.
Yeah, definitely. We've not seen a lot of in-ring work out of Edge recently. He's just been making all of his minions fight. So, yeah, I think we're going to see something good out of the Hall of Famer here. And, I mean, he's great. Listen, you're not supposed to like Judgment Day, as you and I talk about on here all the time, right? Going heel is sometimes the best thing. Case in point, my favorite guy being Seth Rollins. But I think what Edge is doing here is brilliant. But I really... Let's go Nation of Domination here. You know what I mean? Let's get a big faction going. Let's have a couple of people come and like try to join Edge. Let's do more with this than Edge just saying the same thing over and over week after week.
Edge would be a fantastic champion in this group right now. Sitting back with that belt, saying he's got everything, but we only have one belt, and that person's not wrestling right now. So
I know.
You got to kind of figure out what's going on with that.
He could always take the Intercontinental belt off of Ricochet, who's tagging with Drew Gulak.
Hey, you have one of the best athletes ever to go in the wrestling ring. Oh, well, he's a champion. What is he doing? Tagging with Drew Gulak. Oh, he's short. Dude, whatever. I don't care. I do.
And then also, what are we doing with the ring general, right? Like, I mean, I'm sort of into the whole ring general of it all. And now you're going to give me him versus Ricochet and Gulak? Like, just, WWE Creative. I don't like to take as many shots at you, WWE Creative, as everyone else does, but my goodness. I don't know what we're doing with any of those.
At least give Gunther the Intercontinental Championship and have him have it for a year.
Yeah.
And then heaven forbid, maybe have a matchup at like a Royal Rumble or maybe even a secondary pay-per-view with him and Reigns. Why not? Reigns can win. That's fine. But build somebody up.
Yeah, that's a really good idea, actually, putting the belt on Gunther for a while. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't say much anyway, right? So him walking out and that whole deal he does with his arms behind his back and the belt sitting there. I mean, come on. That would totally work. I'm with you, Jim. That's a great idea.
He was the United Kingdom champion forever, and he was great. You've seen those matches.
Yeah, those are some good matches. That little dude that he would always wrestle with,
Dragunov.
That guy would be a bloody mess by the end of him. But that dude was exciting. What's that guy up to? Is he still in NXT?
Yeah, NXT UK. He's still a champ. Yep.
Good for that guy. That guy was always pretty exciting in the ring.
Kevin Owens versus Ezekiel.
Elias.
In this is wrestling, so we kind of do have to have a match eventually. Here's what I think is going to happen, Rod. I think Ezekiel gets the win because Elias interferes. That's what I think happens.
Yeah, I totally am with you. How are they going to pull it? Some guy's going to be all bearded up, though, right? I mean, it's going to be kind of obvious that it's not.
I think this is going to go backstage somehow.
Okay.
And I'm not joking when I say this. I think when they had this idea, they recorded something that you will see Elias do something to Kevin Owens. Guitar shot, anything like that. Ezekiel will then come in and get the pin. Then there'll be some kind of a back shot of Elias giving a 5 to Ezekiel or something like, there'll be some. I think that's going to happen, man. I think it's going to happen. It's going to be great.
This is a long con paid off by WWE Creative. How in the world? And listen, you and I shouted this out a couple weeks back, but like Kevin Owens' ability to sell this whole thing, oh my goodness. I'll say this. I'm excited for this one to get over with. I'm excited to see if Ezekiel still gets a little bit of run from people because Kevin Owens helped him come back with a new character, and that's you're absolutely right there. But what do we do next with Kevin Owens? All right, you gave him the rattlesnake, and then you gave him this gimmick that shouldn't have worked, and he made it work. What do we do next with KO?
Almost an MVP.
Oh, God.
No, it's going to be Ezekiel, dude. They're going to fight on Monday. Guaranteed. Guaranteed they're in the ring on Monday against each other.
Yeah, you're probably right about that. Listen, Ezekiel needs to start. He just needs to come out to the Ultimate Warriors music. That's where we need to go with Ezekiel. Just have him come out to the Ultimate Warriors music and just start shaking the rings and bouncing his head up and down. Just go full warrior on it.
You love armbands. All right, so these next two matches, we've got the Hell in a Cell and we've got the Women's Championship match. One of these is going on first, one is going on last. Bianca Belair versus Asuka versus Becky Lynch. This could be match of the year. It really could be, Rod. I think it's going to have a stupid ending, though. I think Bianca Belair is going to win.
But okay, Jimmy, explain this to me, all right? Because I'm with you. I'm not anti Becky Lynch, Asuka, and Bianca Belair being in the ring together. Great triple threat match. But explain to me how Becky Lynch and Asuka and Bianca are in this mess, right? Like, we could have easily just had this be the straight-up rematch between Becky and Bianca, and you didn't want that. But then you can't also let Asuka get the complete shine of coming back. I mean, like, explain this to me, Jimmy.
Well, this was supposed to be Naomi.
This
was supposed to be Naomi against Bianca Belair. And then Sasha was going to go against Rousey. So this was supposed to be Naomi losing to Bianca Belair. So they had to change everything around. And I'm assuming, see, you're right, because Asuka should get the shine. But I'm assuming Asuka's going to get pinned here.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think we're taking the belt off of Bianca. I really don't. I think you're right there.
Unless they really hate Bianca, which they've kind of proven. It depends on the day.
You could convince me they might. That's a good point by you.
There's a lot to hate about Bianca, you know. She's amazing. She's athletic. She's decent on the microphone. Got a huge following. You know, a lot of bad things that Bianca really needs to work on.
She's essentially your only female babyface. I mean, please, let's not, Asuka, I guess, is a bit babyface right now.
Yeah.
Because they're letting Asuka do a lot of talking, which I guess that's the way they're saying that Asuka's a babyface.
Yeah. I always wonder if that's kind of a set up to fail type situation too, because Asuka in little spurt, she legitimately speaks a dialect that hardly anybody speaks. Okay, and she does the best she can with it, but again, it's only going to go so far.
Yeah,
and it's like, okay, we get it, but we like legitimately can't understand you. You know, and
listen,
usually when
you have so many contracts with people backstage, all right, just pick somebody else other than Asuka for all your backstage people to talk to. Because that's something else that we're going to bring up some other time. We're not talking about a pay-per-view, Jim. I mean, how many different people do we need doing backstage interviews?
You need one person. That's all you need.
And how many do we have?
53. And you know what? It's okay for that person to have a personality. Gee, who's one of the most famous characters in WWE history? Mean Gene Okerlund. Why? Because he had a personality. Because he wouldn't take stuff from anybody. Because they let him cook. These other people, if they say anything out of sorts, they're done.
Yeah,
all right, so who you got?
I got Bianca.
Right.
And I'm with you though. I think we're gonna see some. I think we're gonna see a little chicanery though, right? Like I think Becky's gonna be underhanded because she's still big time Bex, and it's just not gonna work out for her, right? Like she's gonna be the one that does something crazy to Asuka, but then Bianca's gonna be able to get the slip on her and actually pin Asuka. Something like that's sort of what I see.
And then we have the third match in the series.
Can we just end the podcast now, Jimmy?
Cody Rhodes, who, by the way, is still on fire, even after that Miz match on Raw. Was it 2 weeks ago?
You did a countdown count to that. They did
Miz.
A countdown count to that, Jimmy.
That is on Miz, 100%. You've got to be better than that. You have got to be better than that. Anyway,
he's getting
Cody
a little
Rhodes.
rusty, I guess. All of his time filming the reality show and doing Dancing with the Stars, he's getting a little rusty.
I just don't understand how you do something for 20 years and just I don't know. But you know what? Better than I am. Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins in the Hell in a Cell. Rhodes is 2-0. It does not make any sense in the world that Seth Rollins wins this match, but it also doesn't make any sense in the world that you would beat Seth Rollins 3 times in a row, because then what does he do? Maybe he has a change of heart and changes his character and starts at the bottom and works his way back up. But Rod, I mean, are you okay, bud? You're the high of Maverick to the low of freaking.
I know that literally is where we're at right now. I thank you for asking and checking in on my personal well-being. I'm not incredibly excited with the record of my guy, the visionary, the revolutionary, burning it all down, Seth freaking Rollins right now. But here's what I will say. I'm with you. At this point, I've accepted it. I've realized that he's about to lose the 3rd time in a row to Cody Rhodes, but here's what I want to see out of my guy. Beat the living piss out of the American Nightmare. Bloody him. throw them all over the place, literally get the crowd just in horror by the end of it, right? Vis-a-vis Rock laying into Mankind 13 different times with the chair. Just get the crowd horrified by the end that, oh my God, I can't believe he's still doing this. And then no more laughing, no more dancing around. You're the absolute revolutionary coming to burn everyone down. I'm here for that at least, because that's the only positive I can get out of this situation.
Dude, if Monday comes around and it goes burn it down and it's our regular Seth Rollins, I think that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I agree. Cody, that blonde hair is going to be pink. He's going to bleed so much in this match. Unbelievable. So I mean, there's no way he loses. He's going to win the match.
Fill me in a little bit on the Cody of it here, Jim. Is Cody a good worker? Is he one of these guys who's better, kind of like Riddle, where he's just going to get beat? Is he going to pull off some moves that I've never seen out of him before? Like, I like Cody Rhodes. I like the American Nightmare of it all. He really classes the joint up. But I'm still a little bit. Do I love his in-ring matches? You know what I mean? I'm still kind of wondering. So help me out a little bit here.
He's kind of an Orton-esque type. You know, nothing too fancy. But he's really good. He's very deliberate in the ring. He's also extremely smart. Obviously, he really has a nose for the business. So I think he's a good technician in the ring. He's very good. But I think with Rollins, it takes both of them up another level.
I mean, are we going to see? Are one of these guys prone to coming off the cage? I mean, who's going to take the biggest fall here?
Rhodes would do that. I mean, there was a couple ladder spots in AEW that are still kind of gross, but Rhodes, then that might happen. He may be the one that goes off the cage into a table, kind of a Shane McMahon spot, maybe.
Yeah.
And then for somehow, some way, he gets the win. But.
You know what I'd love to see? Have him do the exact Shane McMahon spot off the side of the cage, bust through the table, and then we all just stop for a second to play Must Be the Money in honor of our guy Shane O'Mac, who's not with the WWE anymore.
R.I.P. the character of Shane McMahon. So listen, there's a couple good matches in there. I think Rhodes and Rollins will be I think that'll be solid. I think the triple threat will be good. I'm just worried about that ending because you can have a 7 out of 10 match going into that ending and then go down to a 4 out of 10 match.
Yeah, but how often do we talk about the biggest problem with WWE creative is the ending? You and I talk about it all the time about how we had a great match that took us up and down and then they couldn't figure out how to end it. That happens all the time.
I'm looking forward to what they actually do on Owens and Ezekiel. I think that'll be fun, and I think the 6.
I love your call right there, Jimmy. This I've been waiting for Jimmy to really launch a theory that just absolutely blew my mind, and that one right there is a good one. I can't believe I never thought anything like that. But yeah, they already filmed Ezekiel beating the hell out of Kevin Owens because certainly Owens has been around.
That's giving them a lot of credit though,
which you normally don't do. That's why you threw me for a loop with that. I wasn't trying to attack your intelligence, but you normally don't give them any credit.
I know. What are you gonna do? All right, Rod, anything else you want to talk about before we end here?
I guess I would say check us out next week. We will have some thoughts on the NBA final, but we decided to lay Balls and Brew out for a little while to give all of our Maverick content plenty of room to breathe, and we talked about that at the beginning. But just check out the movie and check out we have a spoiler edition of Top Gun Maverick coming out for you here soon as well, where after you have seen the movie, check that one out, and then you can sit around with your friends here at the Morgan You Know Podcast Network, and we'll talk about all the cool scenes that happen in the new film.
And with that, you've been listening to the Yeah You Know Podcast, part of the Morgan You Know Podcasting Network. You're in the ring with Jimmy and Rod.
And thank you all. If you guys want to continue checking in with me on social media just to see how I'm doing when my guy Seth Rollins loses his 3rd match in a row at Hell in a Cell this Sunday, I would absolutely appreciate it.